Hello, hello, brothers and our beloved sisters. J.A. Rogers here, Mike Side. We are Black Men Declare, and we are here to change the narrative. We have a lot of things going on in the world around us. Oftentimes we see debate and conjecture, and most recently we saw what appears to be a theme taking place with Jason Whitlock, who hangs out at the Blaze. He has continued to criticize Deion Sanders for a number of reasons. And I guess a question that I have that's come to my heart is this an objective, what you would call objective assessment, or another example of one brother getting paid to destroy another? I'll be interested in your comments. Dr. Tell, let's start with you.
Well, greetings to you, Dr. Rogers, and greetings to our sisters and brothers of Blackmen Declare. I would say that, one, that everyone has a right to their opinion. It's just like, but everyone doesn't need to share their opinions. The problem that I have with Brother Whitlock is that he is not as hard or not as critical with other non-people of color. So because of his previous actions and because of his comments, I would say that this is a sign of black on black crime, that this is a brother or a so-called black man who is really hating on a brother who is striving to do better and make the college or collegiate sports even better. So I would definitely agree and say that this is as the young people would say, he's a hater, and he's a PhD, a player hating degree. He has a player hating degree. So I agree, and I pray that he will change his ways. As always, blessings to you all.
Greetings, my brothers, this evening. The Blackmen Declare. Ben Banneker here. I agree with you, William Tell, because I heard nothing but jealousy, hate, or envy. And his 2 minutes of fame, he's found something to voice an opinion and be noted for that. But I'm not particularly in favor of hearing Jason Whitlock, but I viewed it pretty much as this hate references, hate relationships, envy more than anything else, because he's found a way to voice an opinion. He may be getting paid. I don't know. But Deion, in my opinion, hasn't done anything wrong with respect to what he's doing at Colorado, University of Colorado, or his image at prime time. I say that in love, peace, and justice.
Peace, brothers. Good to be on this episode of Black Men Declare, for my brothers in this fight for truth, freedom, justice, and equality. Man, this is a heavy one to start this show out talking about Deion, Jason Whitlock. I just be straight up that I never was a Jason Whitlock fan. Never been a Jason Whitlock fan. I think his take sometimes on black people and our challenges in the sports world and politics is sometimes I just question, who's paying him. I am a Deion Sanders fan. I am a fan of his as far as it relates to sports. Nothing else. It's sports and how he handles his children. However, saying that, I'm going to read some things that Jason said real quick. I'm trying to. He talked about Deion and his post. He said, because we have our racial idolatry lenses on, we don't care about Travis Hunter. We don't care about what's best for Travis Hunter. All we care about is Deion primetime because we are groupies for Deion, and we don't care who gets exploited in the name of Deion. He goes on further and talks about him stat padding for his son and the things that he has done to benefit his son. I'm just going to be straight up honest. And as I said before, I'm not a Jason Whitlock fan. However, if we sit back and we look and we are fair, if this was coming from another person besides Jason Whitlock, we probably would pay closer attention to it. Because in truth, I've said this before, some of the things that Deion Sanders does, in my opinion, as a person who has played college football, who has played sports, who coaches young ladies in sports, some of the things are just, you just don't do. You just don't, just don't do. But because we so much love and enamored by Deion Sanders, we have a hard time being truthful. And I have a problem with us if we can't take off those lenses that Jason Whitlock said. And again, he said some things, man, that are just not in the best interest of black people. And for him to voice this on these shows, to me, is not in the best interest of black folks either. But I cannot say that some of the things that he said are have some level of truth behind it. Do I think Deion Sanders cares about his athletes? Of course I do. But do I think in the end that Deion Sanders cares about himself and his aura? You're absolutely right. History shows us that. And we'll be fooling ourselves to think anything different if history didn't show us from Florida State to Atlanta Falcons to San Francisco to Dallas to Baltimore to Washington, if we think that somehow Deion Sanders is not sometimes about himself, we'll be fooling ourselves. Peace, family.
Very, very true. Very true. Who is Whitlock? Well, Whitlock was an all-state offensive lineman in high school in Indianapolis, played football at Ball State, lettering as an offensive tackle in both 1987 and 1988, graduated from Ball State in 1990 with a journalism degree. He is now considered an award-winning journalist, TV personality, radio host, and podcaster. Now, doesn't give anything about his personal. I don't know if he's married or if he has children or anything like that. But at the end of the day, I would agree with Denmark. There are certain things that you just, even if you have an opinion of it, you just keep it to yourself. Because we already deal with so much targeted, programmed, projected, structural, systemic, opinionated racism. And we don't need to add to that formula, to that recipe. I mean, you could have an opinion, objective assessment of someone and leave it at that. You could leave it at the football level. But when you start speaking about a person's belief system, how they're not a Christian, or if they were not a Muslim, if they were not a Judaist, if they were not a Buddhist or Hinduist, whatever it may be, you're stepping out of bounds then, because that ain't your business. That's their business. And so I find that difficult to deal with. And when you start talking about how someone is raising their sons even, and again, I don't know if he has children or been married, because what I read on him earlier, I didn't see where there was a queen or where there was, offspring, that kind of thing. Because the other piece I believe is that right, wrong, or indifferent, if you have not been married or if you don't have children, there are certain things you can't criticize. You can only say, I want to give you my opinion based on what I think. But if you have no real life credibility or real experience, then you can't, how you going to tell somebody how to raise their children or what their level of belief is in a religious affiliation? That's over the board to me, over the line, as they would say, because now you're getting into a personal situation. If Jason will leave his things on things like how much is the swagger of Deion helping Colorado and the players on the team, well, you leave it on the football band, you leave it there. But when you start becoming personal, that becomes a problem for me, especially again, if you yourself have not walked in those shoes. So I just put that out there as a barometer, as a measurement for me, is to what did this person bring to the conversation or to the table from a standpoint of their personal experience. And then once they have that level of credibility, then they can come in and they have the freedom to give their real life experience perspective. Otherwise, they're just speaking from a rhetorical, perhaps unrealistic perspective. Now, I want to give brother Denmark may be more familiar with him than you all, since of course he played college ball like yours truly played college ball. But Denmark, anything I missed or we missed on this Jason Whitlock dude?
No, I think we summed it up. Jason Whitlock probably is not the best messenger to talk about anybody, and his critique on black men especially hasn't been too good. I think that in the black community, we have become so enamored with celebrityism that sometimes when people criticize our celebrities, we have a tendency to go overboard in protecting them and not sometimes sitting back and seeing if what said person has said may have some validity to it. I thank God for the past 15 to 18 years that I have become less of a celebrity worshiper and beginning to see them for who they are. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to just come on a microphone and blast them every time I get a chance. Sometimes we have to look at the chessboard and see that there's a bigger play out there. And sometimes celebrities are low-hanging fruit.
All right. And I also got word from one of our listeners that Jason Whitlock is not married. So he really overboard now. He's not even married. So again, we have to be careful on that situation. Denmark, I'm gonna come back and hit you with this one up first too. Um, the Las Vegas Aces, man, they won their back-to-back championship the other day. And, they appear to be a young team, second-year coach, winning back-to-back, MVP from last year's regular season, and then the MVP from last year's championship and this year, both from Las Vegas. And they seem to be young. I mean, is it possible, do you think, we could be looking at a repeat? I mean, is there a dynasty flowing here if they can keep these young ladies together? What do you think about that?
Brother. Oh man, you're talking about my favorite team, who I've seen every year in August. I've seen a game or two every year since their inception. in Las Vegas. I've been fortunate to see them every August play, and I'm telling you, I love that organization. It's just funny. Like the son of Al Davis is the one who's bringing championship to Las Vegas. It's just something to think about. That then he hires the woman GM. He hires a woman, Becky Hammond, who are running the ship as the coach. And I have to say, man, I'm very impressed with the way Becky Hammond deal with team first basketball. I'm very impressed with her. I'm mostly impressed with the way that A'ja Wilson has led the team as far as being the leader and bringing along the Jackie Youngs, allowing Kelsey Plum to flow, allowing Chelsea Gray to come in, give the team a spark and be that point guard leader. She even accepted Candace Parker, even though Candace didn't play as much this year. But I think in order for them to three-peat, maybe four-peat, they need to add one or two more younger pieces. I hate that they let Hamby go, let her go to Los Angeles Sparks this year after she had her second child. I think that was a good piece for them for the future, but they're going to have to find one or two more young pieces, man. But I'm telling you, that organization, and if you hadn't had a chance to look at their practice facility, it just shows you that Mark Davis is truly invested in the future of this team. Their practice facilities set the standard for women's basketball. It's a beautiful facility that opened up this year in Las Vegas. And I just think they're prime, man. They kind of remind me of watching Houston Comets in the 90s with Cheryl Swoops and Tina Thompson and Cynthia Cooper. That's how long I've been watching women basketball because I love the Comets, man, and I just see these aces as a rejuvenation or second coming of those Comet teams that they had, man, and they didn't give A'ja Wilson the MVP this year, and I heard a person say today that they think that the WNBA just wanted a different face because she was getting all the accolades, but she came out and the way she balled, and everybody was trying to put Stewart on that level. I'm sorry, I've said it for the past 3 years. When it came to A'ja Wilson, Stewart didn't have nothing on her, and it showed. And matter of fact, they said today that a couple of the WNBA officials, and Plum actually is the one that said it, like, they're not even a team over at Liberty. They're more individualistic players, and Aces never played like that. I've never seen them play where it was me first. It was always team first. Do what's best for the team. And when you have a team like that and players like that, the future is bright if they can stay healthy and keep them together.
All right. Dr. Till.
Well, greetings to you, Dr. Rogers, and to all of the sisters and the brothers of Blackmen Declare. One of the things that I have noticed that in this year compared to previous years, the imagery of the WNBA, that they are beginning to be noticed even more. Their athletes are better trained, and I have to be honest, a lot of the women basketball players are just as good, if not better, than half of the men. With that saying, you never know what might happen. The chemistry right now is good, and to hope that the chemistry can continue to be as good for a three-peat is really up to the GM and the president of operations. So we hope to see them continue to do well, and we hope to continue to see the rise of the WNBA. As always, blessings to you all.
Greetings, my brothers, listening audience. Ben Banneker. Just would like to just congratulate the Aces. Um, and our organization that looks like it's set in place from top to bottom. I was most impressed with the guard play, and you lose one of your primary players on the team, and you still ball out. That's impressive. And I noticed the symmetry and the people in the audience, the ballers in the audience, and the celebrities there. I saw Dawn Staley one time that she just got all into enjoying Asia Wilson ball out. I'm impressed. I'm excited for the WNBA. I think it's a it's a good move for the team, for the franchise, for the sport. I am not in favor of some of the other teams, but I like what I saw with the WNBA and the Los Angeles Aces. So I think that there may be a phrase or a stance that, like Dr. Rogers said, that need just a few more pieces to solidify, uh, to store up that bench. They got some tattooed girls out there, but they got some young ladies who seem to be all girl, all women. So however it goes, I'm just excited. I like the I like the potential and the possibilities. So I'm increasing the brand of the WNBA. Peace.
Okay, Dr. Ben, it's Las Vegas, not L.A. Just a little Freudian slip, but I believe that they can, with the addition of a piece or two, because you can never have too many excellent players or great players. And Denmark said something, that team consciousness. And I could see that difference in New York and Las Vegas, doing these games. Now, mind you, these are the two best teams. They were the two best teams. And so it's befitting that the two best teams should be playing. However, when you looked at the teams and you look at the style of play, really totally different. I mean, New York, they looked for certain shots, but if Brianna got the ball, I mean, she could have had the green light too now. They could have just gave her the green light. But once you're not hitting, then you need to be looking for somebody else. I mean, she was something like, I think she scored 10 points or something, maybe. Barely getting in the, that's just not Brianna Stewart, typically. But we got to begin to look at this WNBA and for what it can do if, in fact, it wants to change its image. And I'm hoping and praying that that's what we're going to see and that they won't come up with a program to do anything that would stop the Las Vegas Aces from three-peating. Now, there are people always saying, thinking and believing that some of this stuff is rigged. But I'm just tell you, I love watching a team that plays unselfishly. And I'm biased, albeit I admit it on some of the players, uh, Jackie Young and Asia Wilson. I mean, I'm biased on those two, I admit it, because they come from championships. They're championship stock. And when you're a championship stock, you think different and you play different. And I think what they've been able to do, they have been able to share that mindset, that championship mindset that is so critical. I mean, Plum, I mean, she been around a lot of brothers and sisters playing some ball because she can ball. She can outright ball. I don't think she is as good as all around as a Jackie. Now you take Chelsea Gray, my goodness, off the chain. I mean, she got some bad wheels, some bad looking wheels, but you cannot deny the fact that she can ball. And she got extremely high intellect. You know where she went to college over there on the East Coast in that 4-letter school. She can ball. Asia come from, won championship, national championship. So you are talking about that group right there. And then look at it. The person that it seemed now in hindsight that didn't want to play team ball, Liz Cambage, right? I don't know what happened, all the details of what went down, but they got better when she left. And now you bring a Candace Park in the mix, and you could see almost from where she didn't even need to play. I mean, just the mere fact that she was there, the fact that she too has won a championship, makes it easy for them to have dialogue, because now you done brought in somebody that's got a championship and know what championships is all about. I mean, it's powerful. And now you look at the fact that you're still young. And the young lady Alicia Clark, I mean, she was handling her business on that defensive end last evening. So I would agree that at the end of the day, they have the foundation to be able to three-peat. And Scott Van Pelt, he would use the word last night of dynasty. Now, I don't know if I'm ready to go there yet, but that was the word he used last night, was dynasty. All right, Denmark, anything we missed on this one?
Two quick things.
Go ahead.
Firstly, I forgot about the Liberty and their players that decline not to speak to the media. The organization get fined $25,000, and each player get fined $2,000. So that shows you what type of team they are. But then I find what we're talking about, the WNBA being, appealing. Greg Popovich said he had a game last night with the Spurs, and he said he contemplated getting ejected so he can go watch the game, the WNBA game, and celebrate Hammond. And we all know that Hammond was a coach up under him at one point as well. So
Yeah,
that
that's
just
right.
shows
I
you the
forgot, I
interest
forgot to
is.
mention that. You're right.
Yes.
Yep, you're right. That would have been too cool, man. That would have been cool. Well, brothers, I tell you, at the end of the day, when you look at what's taking place, the only other piece that we got to hope that they get together is that lifestyle issue. They got to get that lifestyle issue together. Okay, I mean, because we know that the healthcare industry is all excited about that kind of situation, right? The kind of situation where you got people want to change who they are from where they came from and all of that kind of stuff. And yet it's still our black people, still many of our black people don't have basic insurance. Some folks got enough money to get, all kind of treatments and cut all kind of body parts here, there, that kind of way. And, we still, proportionately have less, health care than the society at large. So we want to ask this question. Is the healthcare system uh, aimed to oppose our people? I mean, is it set up so that, quite honestly, we fail or we may fail? What's your thoughts on that? And we'll start with Denmark on that. What's your thoughts, Denmark?
Brother, yes. So I was scrolling and listening. I was scrolling on Joanne Reed's Instagram, and she posted a video of this doctor who talked about a book called "Race, Traits, and Tendencies of the American Negro," written in 1896 by Frederick Hoffman. And what he talked about in the book is that if you not allow blacks to gain access to health care within 2 to 3 generations, blacks would die out if you prevent them from gaining access to health care. And then I thought about it, like, ever since the African Americans were cut, or blacks were left the plantation and entered into the Jim Crow era, and we always been fighting for access to health care, fair access to health care. And I'm just wondering, is this fight a part of a white supremacist system, knowing that if you could continue to deny blacks access to quality health care, even though Hoffman said 2 or 3 generations, but knowing how white supremacy works, we're talking about few more generations not allowing us to have that health care and have the access to quality health care. And we see that black men, black women, we're leading in every categories as it relates to health in America. And so my question and my concern is that Hoffman's idea is still well and living in America. And that's why we have to fight so hard to gain access to healthcare, and why a country like America, who is on the top of their game, don't have free healthcare for all, where some lesser nations have free healthcare, like Canada, like Cuba. They have free healthcare, but we're talking about America, one of the greatest nations on earth, but we're still fighting for healthcare. Is it because the white supremacists that run America know that if they could continue to deny us that opportunity, that eventually it would take root and we would die out, we would become sicker, and not able to thrive in America like we have because we are dealing with healthcare issues? Peace, family.
Well, greetings to the sisters and brothers of Blackmen Declare. This is William Tell. I agree with our brother Denmark. I am, when you look at the totality of history, you see that healthcare has never been a service that they wanted, that people wanted people of color to have. And it's mighty interesting that when you look at even our history, how they always experimented on people of color. Now, I just recently found out that in the 1700s and 1800s and even older, that women used to put these almost like it almost looks like a butt on their outfits so that they could look like they have a bigger butt. But in reality, they got that from looking at people of color. Now, we understand that that most people today, because of the cost of healthcare, especially people of color, are now going to other countries to get cosmetic work done and other work done, even dental work done, because it costs so much cheaper there. The only issue is trying to find someone that could provide the same type of service here. So when you look at the totality of healthcare, it is not meant for us. There are a lot of us who have it because of our jobs, but for those who are self-employed, it's a very expensive item to have, but it's definitely necessary. And I don't know about you, but because I get my portion taken out every week for my health care, I try to use it as much as possible. And I would advise that you should also. As always, blessings to you all.
Greetings, my brothers, on my family. Greetings to the audience of Blackmen Declare. Ben Raniker, it's been noted by Dr. Tell and Dr. Reese that there is a problem. I do think it's white supremacy. I think that the system is white, controlled by whites. And I do believe that there's a slant in medicine, there's a slant in corporations, that Black people are not at the top of the poll. So they are not considering the health of people of color. And all of the statistics show that we have high blood pressure and we have this and we have that. And I would like to say that Black America is more healthier than white America. We just don't have the opportunities for white America. But what I have a problem with is equal playing field. But that's going to come. I don't know when, I don't know the hour or the time, but it's going to come that everything equals out just because you are a human being. Peace and love.
Well, I'll tell you, this is one that's very interesting, but I know in my spirit that it's a reality because it follows the same pattern as a philosophical pattern of the Eurocentric model in general, which is extract as much value as you can from that black man. And then once you have extracted his greatest level of utility, then you put him into a situation where he will simply die. If that's by some sickness, some disease, or by the mere fact he not have enough money to purchase insurance and so he can't get medical care. Well, you remember the Tuskegee experiment. So we know that there are situations that we can point to historically where that was the case. But I'm here to tell you, I believe that it is even true, even more so than ever before. If you go to a doctor today, think about it, you could have told them every time you've been there, you're not diabetic. What do? They try to tell you you're diabetic. You could go and one doctor may say to you, why don't you take this particular medication? You don't have this, but gee, now looking at your family history, this may be a way you could prevent it. So you go and take the smallest dosage of that, not realizing that now wherever you go from then on, they're going to be saying, oh, so you are whatever that medication is supposed to be. Oh, so even if you're trying to be proactive, you this. Now, the problem is that so now you go somewhere and somebody says, well, you probably need to, that adjust and increase your dosage. Adjust and increase your dosage. And after a while, something that you may have been doing innocently to protect yourself, it becomes something that could take you out of here. People tell us to take aspirin, 81 milligrams of 325, good and bad. But medically, the psychological piece combined with our mistrust definitely is a problem. You also look at the fact that over almost 11% of blacks are still uninsured today, while the number for whites is about 6.4, 6.3, something like that. The only other groups that are underinsured are those immigrants that's coming to the country, and that's at about 22%, something like that, if I remember. So I do believe structurally, systemically, historically, that's why back in the day, you may remember, some of you all may remember, some of you may not. They had hospitals that they called charity hospitals. And one of the things as a young person growing up, you learn that when someone say, well, where are your parents or where are your people, you didn't really want to say the charity hospital because, that was a hospital for those that basically had no way to go to the regular hospital. So it's psychologically, mentally, spiritually, financially, it's been that way. And I know I have experienced death in my family where not only, how would I say, I want to be careful, where I think, feel, and believe that it was a negligence of the medical profession that led to the death of my parents. I believe that strongly. So yes, brother, I do believe it's been that way for a long time, and it's very disheartening. But if I left anything out, uh, then Mark, come on and share what that may be, or if any of us left anything out.
I think healthcare should be one of those issues that is packaged in the reparations bill, and not just healthcare broadly, but healthcare by quality Black doctors, and also alternative medicine should be one of those things that's packaged in this reparation bill when we start talking about reparations.
I agree 100%. 100%. Well, man, talking about reparations. Wow. We may want to shorten that to preparations. I mean, we all have heard some of the saga of what's going on with Jada and Will Smith. And the other day, she had an interview that she said they hadn't been together since 2016. And I mean, I guess just revealed a whole bunch of stuff that, everybody's shaking their head out and saying, what's happening? It's one thing to like go back and find yourself some kind of way, but uh, what happens when a person just do that and just expose too much? Because some things are just too personal. But Dr. William Tell, do you think in this latest situation with Jada and Will that she went too far?
Greetings to you, Dr. Rogers. Yes, I would agree that in her trying to tell her truth, that she, by her exposing her truth, she was actually hurting somebody that she claims that she loves. And though she's not in love, she claims that she loves him and that she is committed and that divorce is not even an option. She has said on many TV shows recently and writing her book that she understands that she has to and she will always be married to Will. But I found something interesting. I've realized that Will Smith's ex-wife got divorced from her second husband, I think a year before they started having problems. Now, I'm not trying to insinuate anything, but what I am stating the facts is that there seems to be some correlation because, he is still very good friends. That's his oldest son, Trey's mother. I believe her name is Sherry or Cherie, and that he's very close to her. but I have a heartache when I know that somebody is sharing their truth, but it is causing pain for somebody else. I don't think that it has to be that way. But if this is what she feels she needs to do to be whole, then go ahead. But just understand, when you break the trust of a man that you claim that you love and that loves you, once you have broken that place of trust, it's very hard to come back and be in a loving relationship or a trusting relationship. As always, blessings to you all.
Greetings, my brothers. This panel. I found this, Ben Danica, as I'm beginning to hear the conversation about two ships going in different directions right now. What's what behind the scenes are, what secrets are or can there be for the family should be private, personal, not intent to, as you say, harm another or get one up on the other one. This discussion, or the discussion that the Smiths have had, is personal. What I would like to imply that this country has taken a turn for the worse over the last 20 years, that we have no more secrets. We have no more integrity. We have no more honesty. And definitely we're lacking respect for one another. So with the Smith saga, one to either sell books or memoirs, or one to keep your nose clean or keep things straight, I am appalled at the conversation. There's too much information. I don't want to hear about your family. I don't want to hear about your dirt. And as we said before, and as I'll bring up, if you're in the closet, don't show up and share all your information because you're in the closet. Or if you want to come out of the closet and kick the door in, kick the door out, do that. But please keep that stuff personal. The world does not need to hear the intimacies of mankind. I share in the peace.
It's amazing. Here we are, early in the episode, we talked about celebrities and our need to start worshiping celebrities. Will and Jada, I actually respect both of them, to be truthful. I respect both of them. And probably about 12 years, maybe somewhere between 12 to 15 years ago, I met a brother, and I'm not going to say his name. I met a brother, and he was telling me about Will and Jada, open marriage, that whole thing. And at the time, I brushed it off and laughed because everything he was telling me was funny. Some of the things he was saying, it was funny. Like, man, this brother, man. And he told me some other stories that as some celebrities, and as I continued to get older and time passed, seems like everything that brother told me during that time has been real. And so when I first started hearing Jada talk about some of this stuff, I just shook my head and laughed because I'm like, this brother knew something that back then, and what he told me and what he ran against was maybe 100% truth. Now, saying that, seems like, the more we talk, the more Instagram, we're in a crisis right now where wars are happening around us, and Jada Pinkett and her book sales has been trending, and she's probably going to hit #1. And the money continues to roll into the Smith family. And I know recently he posted a caption like, I could sleep anywhere, and basically saying that I'm at peace, and him and Will and Jada and him are just laughing. And then there was another statement that he made that he commended her for telling her story, so as we talk, and we say this, and I'm a traditional moralist. I believe you're supposed to keep some of that stuff secret, and talk amongst each other, or talk to a counselor and stuff. But they're movie stars. And what they're doing is putting it out for the movies. Putting it out for the fans. And we're talking about it here right now. And their stocks continue to rise. So, glory be to God. Glory be to God. And that brother, if he ever listened to this podcast, he knows what he told me. And I say, brother, you're right. I shouldn't have called you a liar at that time. Peace, family.
It's so very interesting. You can see the diversity in all of the possibilities that exist, all the way from, we have a Dr. Till mentioned about if something is going to bring him joy but bring pain to another, then he does not want to do it. That's a beautiful perspective, full of love and compassion. And then we get down to Denmark sharing a possibility that, hey, we just getting played because there's money to be made. And you see from the same situation, the same reality, that the interpretation of the possibilities could be diabolically different. It's probably somewhere, who knows, with a blend of both at the end of the day. But that is the world we live in. We seen the reality TV host that said he was a billionaire become a president. Almost anything. And what can you say is not possible? Is there anything we could say that's not possible? If somebody say to you, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, you better at least lend your mind to the possibility, because there's nothing that has convinced me that whatever this mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And so that means I'm going to go out there now and I'm going to get myself healed or whatever. Because it could be a combination of both. You're having a conversation and you say, wow, I'm going to do this. And somebody says, wow, do you know what that'll do? That's going to make this happen. That's going to happen. It's going to create this kind of talk. You're going to go around to this and that or whatever. Man. And at the same time, that's going to be like dumping your load. Wow. Man. Hey, y'all. At the end of the day, it's all about getting that right message at that right time, at that right place. And we have to accept the fact that everything that's been said is on point from all points of view. And that's why we always need to have that Black man declare perspective. But Denmark, you want to share any closing comments?
No, I'm just laughing and shaking my head, brothers. Because if
Dr.
I
Till,
tell
Dr. Till, any last comments?
Yeah, I really feel for Will Smith because of the fact that this is very embarrassing to him. And then to recently make the comments that I feel like Tupac Shakur is my soulmate, and you never married him. It's just very embarrassing, and I pray that Will Smith will be able to grow from this and move on and do whatever God has called him to do. But again, I just see him being embarrassed, and I feel for him, and just know that I don't see how he would be able to reconnect back with her.
Okay, you feel embarrassed for him? I wonder how you feel embarrassed for the President of the United States of America, President Biden. He went over to Israel, and I mean, I think he had no choice. I'm sure he had no choice. But the question I like to know, Dr. Tell, I know you got inroads on the DC area up there, but what did President Biden accomplish by going to Israel?
I would say pretty much nothing. When you look at all that he has done, and all of the money that him and the other government politicians have given to Israel, supposed to be in the name of peace, it was just a waste of time. I thought they really was after the bombing of the hospital. I thought while they was in midair, they were going to turn around the Air Force One and just bring him straight back home. But he decided to still continue and to meet with a different group of people. What I find interesting is that the media said that this was the first time that a president went through wartime. And I found that interesting because it seems like Israel has always been at war with one person or another. And so, and what the media is saying is trying to make it sound like all of the world is in war. I would say he didn't accomplish anything, or let me just say he didn't accomplish anything significant to people of color. So, as always, blessings to you all.
This is Ben Radical here. Will only just say one comment, and that is we're being played. I can't say that the trip was necessary or there was any fruitful discussions that couldn't have been made on the telephone or whatever the skiff best to have. We're being played. Now the United States is, I think they're saying that they're going to send 100 mil and weapons and cash and guns to Israel or to fight the Israeli war. So now we're going to fight and dispense monies to two wars, Ukraine and Israel. We don't have that much money left in the coffers. So how they're doing this stuff, I looked up my calculations and talked to my tax people, and somebody saw the story. But the proof is in the pudding. We've got 60 days from now to know where we stand. But I'll just add to a point that our supply chain is broken. We are having trouble supplying the needs of the United States. But one thing the United States does have is guns. I share in love. Peace.
I'm not sure what Sleepy Joe trying to accomplish. Sleepy Joe, so a few clips resurfaced of him in his early days and a few years ago, where he actually said that he's a Zionist. He actually said that if there was not an Israel, we would have to create it. He's letting you know that that whatever Israel's agenda is, he's lock, step, and barrel behind them. He throw a few billion at Israel, hoping that Congress will pass that, and throw a few more billion at Ukraine. America's whole thing is they don't want the Middle East powers to come together and dominate that area. So that's their interest, protecting that area. Israel is their interest. And they don't want Putin to win. So they're going to throw money at that. He's looking at these interests, and it's like a nightmare. And I'm hoping that Americans wake up and realize, like, America's grip on the world is loosening. It's like they got grease on their hands right now, and they are fighting to try to strive off these other countries. Push them off, and as long as they can, they're trying to push these other countries off. But their grip on the world is loosening, and we Black Americans, we better beware. Don't tie yourself to a system or a idea that is dying. You better be looking for something else, or you better be looking for God. Peace.
Yeah, that's a good look there, looking for the Father. I mean, I think that the president accomplished something. What he accomplished was the fact that he would indeed try to go do something that couldn't be done, but by virtue of making the effort, that it might yield him some favorable publicity and get the voting, his perspective, his favorable hold up in as we get ready to roll into 2024. I believe he also proved that he is just like everybody else. He over there and he gets in the ring of the Israelis. You know, he's over there with Netanyahu saying, yeah, everything is good, what you need doing. And you see him embracing and all of that. But now what did he do for America or for us? Hard pressed to identify any such thing. And it's shameful that someone that has spoken the way this dude has, we got him on record. And I know everybody say, well, people can change. Well, that's true. People can change. But you still have to remember also the foundation from which they came. Because there were some things this dude said, 40 years ago, that they're foundational in themselves. And I really do believe that now in his 80s, he's seeing the light, so to speak. But he's still got a thuggery in him, but he's seeing the light. And he's got this double-mindedness. And you know what the words say about double-mindedness? You're unstable in all your ways. Because see, the spirit of righteousness is eating at the heart of America. And I believe that God is allowing us to see how it eats at the heart by virtue of seeing what's going on with 45 and what we're seeing is taking place with 46 in the flesh. Is that you are seeing right before your eyes. Their deterioration is a physical manifestation of the spirit of the United States that is falling, that is on that slippery slope, and it's far beyond the point of return from the diminishing returns. So it's a very, very challenging time. And I think President Biden, he validated and proved that so. his weak answers on the plane, he was just not impressive. And you would think that even though things may have happened, he still would have the power and the capability to, for lack of a better term, command an audience with more people over there than what he did. I mean, you would think that if you're supposed to have the power, and this is following up what Denmark is saying, you didn't have the power to say, hey, no, regardless of that, y'all need to chill. We need to come together. I need to have a conversation. But no, nobody wanted to take that risk because they knew, put it like this, if from their interpretation would be if they did something like that, there would be the possibility the outcome would not be good. I'm not going to say what, but that's the kind of stuff that keep you from being able to really do something, to show that you are the most powerful man in the world. That if you are the most powerful man in the world, you should be able to make something like that happen where no danger will be seen as possible to you. That's what I'm thinking as we close that one down. Any closing comments? Take 10 seconds, 30 seconds on the closing comments on that one. Then Mark, and then Tell, and then Banneker.
My brother, I'm just firm that America is losing its grip, and we have to be careful on the things that we support as Black Americans.
I would say that in the loom of another government shutdown on November the 17th, we need to be very careful as a government and as the people of this United States. We need to be very careful about what's going on and be aware, and just don't focus on one thing. There's always a sleight of hand going on.
Amen.
I think
Dr.
everything has been said, and Monica here is just confirming what has been brought forth. We are
Well, all
being
right.
played.
Well, okay. Well, brothers, I know I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it, this session. And we want to invite our listening audience, those that have been able to hear, to make your comments known below. Smash that like button, share with someone else, become a subscriber. But by all means, hit the notification button. You'll know when we're on the next time. This is William Tell, Benjamin Banneker, Denmark VC. Dr. Du Bois was not here tonight, and J.A. Rogers. We ask you to go out, spread the narrative, change the narrative, and always do it in peace and love. Mike Side.